babies, it's that time again. Oh yeah. It's been hectic, people. At school we have this thing we call Spirit Week, and we have like activities with teams, games, all kinds of non-academic things, which isn't my favorite. I have a hard time getting into these things, but so what might be fun for the kids, for me, is like anxiety producing. So I have to keep myself in check for their benefit. Oh yeah, babies. Always for the other. Always for the other. In fact, I wanted to tell you a couple days ago that I had this experience, quiet at home on my own, and then all of a sudden I just got this overwhelming appreciation for one of my peers that I work with closely day in, day out, you know, with traumatized kids. And it just, what struck me is the appreciation I had of their level of commitment to our work. And yeah, we don't agree often on, you know, what best to do, but just the obvious commitment and sincerity of their consistent effort just struck me in an emotional way that it made me cry. And so when that happened, I thought, well, I have to let them know how much I appreciate them. And I basically told them just what I told you, you know, and they were really appreciative of it and said, you know, that, you know, just me telling them that was really unique, and that it made them want to cry. So anyway, the reason I'm telling you that is just to take the opportunity, you know, whenever it dawns on you how important certain people are in your life and how they help make it work day in and day out. Just let them know that you see that, you appreciate it, and that you are honored to be associated with them, whatever the relationship might be. So that was it. As you know, it might seem like a small thing, but I really feel like it's a big thing that often gets overlooked, and that if we had more of these kinds of things in our lives that sort of punctuate our daily routines, then it would create less anxiety, because there would be like a shared understanding of what's most important, and that people are aware of it. Because sometimes the paycheck doesn't always match what we're putting into our work, but those little communications can go a long way, especially if it's part of our regular communication. So that's what I try to do, like I said, as often as it occurs to me. You know, I never do it out of a sense of like, gee, this might make this person feel better, so I'm going to say it, even though I don't really feel it or believe it. Don't do anything like that, because people could people often remember not what we say but how we say it. So yeah, you want it to be heartfelt, and like I said, make that a routine in your communication. Which brings me to another thought, because I'm an educator, especially working with troubled youth. There's a tendency for people to just focus on what the problems are and what to be looking out for and how to strategize to support student growth and whatever the challenges are. And all of that is necessary, but it's way, in my experience, it's way out of balance with reporting with the same vigor, passion, and sense of urgency are the times of observing student growth, and then to try and put the pieces together to see if you can determine the cause of the growth, so that the program you're trying to create can be modified to reflect those strengths and those parameters that brought about that growth. And I'm telling you, every time I mention this at work, it almost always just falls flat and just almost always never gets followed through on, because people are focused on misbehaviors and not meeting expectations and whatever it might be. And again, it's kind of similar to what I started this out with. When you focus on communicating the positive, then that ends up being an opportunity for people to reconfigure what they consider to be valuable, and therefore redefines what the foundation of the work is, as opposed to just reacting to unwanted circumstances or challenging behaviors. So you can apply that. You don't have to be a teacher to benefit from this. You can apply that to any of your relationships or any of your challenges that, especially those of us who are called by the Lord to be servants to each other, that we nurture this vigilance, not just daily, but moment by moment, to collect the data of what's working and why is it working, and then to figure out how can those supports be structured in a way that changes the atmosphere and changes the climate and changes the relationships, because now people are aware of the creative response to performance. And so that's why I'm saying you can relate this to any relationship. If you can figure out why something's working in a particular relationship, then you want to nurture that and make those reasons expectations for you in that relationship, and that you're going to do everything you can to keep those elements active, so that there's a sense of safety to take risks in learning and growing and becoming better people for each other. Oh yeah, babies.